What's going to last longer? 2 frozen gallon jugs of ice or the 10 amp hour battery for our IcyBreeze? We're finding out right now. Welcome back, everyone. So if you saw our video on the IcyBreeze, this is our portable cooler air conditioner. And what I want to do is see which will last longer. Now, I've just taken 2 water jugs, filled them up with water, froze them, nice solid bricks. I have my 10 amp hour battery for the IcyBreeze fully charged. Which one's going to run out first? Is the ice going to melt first, or is this battery going to run out? We're also going to be doing regular checks of temperature in here. I'm in the RV. Now, it's not real warm in here right now, but it's going to heat up today into the 80s, which means the trailer temperature is going to rise. How well is this thing going to do? So we'll be doing that. So let's go ahead and get it started. I'm going to go ahead and insert my battery. I'm going to set my 2 jugs in here. Now, I will tell you, these had paper stickers on them. They were milk jugs. I have cut those off, so as the ice melts, the water's going to go into. I did not want any of that paper potentially getting into the circulation system. So I'm going to go ahead and set my 2 jugs in, and then the IcyBreeze does require that you put at least 2 quarts of water in, because obviously it has to have something to circulate. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh yeah, that's plenty. And then the other thing I'm going to do, just so we can get that water good and cold to start with, I bought an 8-pound bag of ice just to kind of get us started. I'm going to put that in there as well. Go ahead and close up. Oh. We're going to have to relocate because of our cooling unit here. There we go, we'll do that. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to be running this thing on high with the, I think they call it extreme cool setting. Because again, I want to see if we can actually keep the temperature down today in the RV. So let's go ahead and power it on. Take it up to high. And the extreme cool, I'm just going to point it just like this. And there we go. Now I'm going to grab my temperature thermometer thingy-ma-bopper, or whatever we want to call it. I'm going to get a reading here in just a minute on what this is, and we're going to look at the thermostat on the trailer, and then we'll just check in like every hour to see, does the ice hold longer than the 10 amp hour battery? So you can see it's just about 9 a.m. as we're getting going, and the thermostat in the trailer is reading 67 degrees. So it's actually cool in here. So this ought to be a good test today as the temperature heats up. And then let's go ahead and see if we can't get some readings. It's definitely cold air coming out. Trying to get it down in. And hopefully you can see that. We're like 43, 41, 37. It's getting there, 32, 31, 30. So, all right. So we definitely had good cold air coming out. So let's just wait an hour and see where we're at on all these different factors. And again, I'm curious to see how long the 10 amp hour 12 volt lithium battery will run our cooler. Now, I'm going to link the video where we reviewed this as far as the whole product. You do have other options. You don't have to rely on that. We could plug it into a 12 volt outlet up here, just run it off of our trailer. Or if you're plugged into shore power, you can run it off of 110, but we won't be doing that because, again, the whole point of this for us is to use it outside to keep the dogs cool when it's really hot out, or to use it in here when we're off-grid camping to try to cool us off and maybe keep the trailer temperature down. So we'll check back in about an hour. All right, we're 1 hour in, and it's still going. No issues, which I figured it would. let's go ahead and we're going to try to get a check on our temperatures coming out of this. Get down in there. Go 34, 33, 32, 31. It just keeps going down. 30, 29, 28, 27. So you get the idea. It's good and cold. Let's check our ice. Now, you can see that the 8-pound bag of ice that I stuck in here is already melted, but what it's done is it's made that water good and cold. And again, we could fill this thing up with 30 pounds of bag ice, but I wanted to run this test with just those 2 blocks, because again, we want to see which lasts longer, the battery or the blocks. Now let's check our temperature in here, and the thermostat's reading 66. So it's actually brought the temperature down 1 degree, and I know it's getting warmer outside. The other temperature we can check is here on the My Waggle, which is a little bit different temperature because it's over in this corner, 68.2, and we've got 48% relative humidity. So for anybody worried, I'm going to continue to check that humidity, because I know some people think because it's a AC cooler that all you're doing is pumping a bunch of moisture, but you're not, because again, we're not just blowing cold air over ice, we're actually circulating it up into this coil system, blowing air across the coil, and then putting that water right back down in the cooler. So, all right, we'll check back in another hour. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. We're 2 hours in, and let's go ahead and take a look at our trailer. So we have warmed up, and that is not unexpected, because again, remember, this IcyBreeze is not going to keep this trailer cold. This is a 23-foot Lance 1985. Let's go ahead and see what this is reading. 69.4. So this hasn't moved a whole lot. And then our relative humidity is at 52%. So maybe it went up a little bit, but I will tell you this, it is humid out. I'm going to go ahead and pop up what the current temperature is outside. I'll go ahead and pull that up on my iPhone and take a screenshot for you. We can go ahead and let's see here. I always have a hard time getting in the right spot. You can see this is dropping. 46. Continue to drop. 44, 43. Now here's what I will tell you is those solid blocks of ice are going to last a long time, but they're not going to get that water as cold as if I would have put in some, that's continuing to drop. They're not going to make this water probably as cold, although that water is super cold. Let's see if we can get any kind of reading on that water. Okay, there you go, the water. So if I would have put more, bag ice in here and just filled this thing completely up, and then along with these, I probably would have been better off in terms of how cold. But again, today's test really wasn't so much about how cold it was as is will those blocks outlast our battery. Now you may be wondering, like, how do you know how your battery's doing? Let me look here. I don't really want to shut this off, but the battery actually has a place. If I can find it, it's right here. Okay, now it looks like we are down. It looks like the battery's down to its final, I think this is thirds. So we've been going for 2 hours. This is a 10 amp hour battery. Remember, I'm running this thing on high speed, extreme cool. You take the fan motor down to medium or low, that's going to extend your battery life. And I'm sure whatever extreme cool does, that also is going to take additional juice from this 10 amp hour battery. Now you can buy additional batteries. In fact, one of the things I love about IcyBreeze that we talked about in the video, they don't send any power source with this. You pick out your cooler, you pick out your color, and then you decide, do you want batteries? Do you want 12 volt? Do you want 110? You decide what you want. They have 2 options on batteries. I think there's a 6 amp hour. We went with the larger 10 amp hour. They provide the charger for you. And then what I did was I ended up buying a 12 volt charger to go along with it. So my gut feeling is, this was fully charged, I charged it overnight, is that we're draining this battery pretty quickly because we're running it on high and we're running extreme cold. Now, when this actually does shut off, I'm going to plug it into 12 volt, and we're going to just see how long this ice lasts. My guess is this will go all afternoon and possibly into the evening with those 2 big chunks of ice. Yeah, is there some melting? Yeah, because I can get my fingers in where I cut them open, so there is melting, but those are still big blocks of ice right there. So, all right, we will check back in another hour. All right, I came back out at the 11:30, so we only went 30 minutes, but because that battery seemed to be low, I thought maybe we ought to come back sooner. We're at 70 degrees, but again, I can't imagine what it would be in here right now if I didn't have this running. Let me check this battery again. You can see it's just got 1 light. Let's check our ice. Again, it's melting, but they're 2 very solid blocks. Now, I tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to shut this off just for a minute. I want to make sure that this battery is accurate when it's plugged in, that maybe you can't test it. I don't know. So we're going to learn together. So let's shut it off. I'm going to lift up, slide out, and then let's test our battery. No, we're still getting the 1 light. Okay, so let's keep it going. We got power. Let's go back up to where we were. Oh, let's see here. Okay, we're good. Going extreme. And then I noticed this light over here went from green to yellow, and it was orange a minute ago. That may also be an indicator of the battery. I don't know. But again, we'll see if I can get a reading here. No, that's not accurate. Get it down in there. There we go. Now it's going down. I gotta hold it steady. It is dropping. So it's definitely cold air coming out of there. Now, again, if I put more ice in there besides the blocks, I know I could get it going, but it's going down. It's a good 35, 34 degrees at least, and that's just where I'm pointing. When I use my hand right here, I can definitely feel cold air. And like I said, the trailer is very comfortable. So, all right, we'll check back in another 30 minutes. All right, I got out here just a little late, 12:10. It is off. So we know it went to 11:30. We know we had 2.5 hours plus. So I don't really know, but definitely 2.5 hours. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get this plugged back in and keep it running. And by the way, trailer is setting at 73 degrees. Okay, so I've unplugged the battery and I'm just going to go ahead and plug in right here on top. Have my 12 volt plug and go ahead and plug into the trailer, 12 volt. We have power, so now let's go ahead and turn it on. Go back up to high. Extreme cool. And we forgot to check. Let's see how our ice is doing. So we still have quite a bit of ice in there. The chunks are definitely getting smaller. And let's go ahead and look right here. I don't know if that's showing up. I've got 39 degrees in here. So again, if I had more ice, I would add a bunch of ice in here, but we just want to see how long. So we did answer our initial question, and again, this feels nice. It's cold coming out of there. It did answer our initial question. Those 2 big blocks of ice lasted the 10 amp hour battery, but remember, if I wasn't running it on high and extreme cool, that battery would have lasted a lot longer. But you know, 2.5 hours is going to get you through your kid's soccer game if you want to stay cold. Or cool, sitting outside watching that, or Little League. That might get you through a Little League game. But again, you probably wouldn't run it on high and extreme cool like that. You might, you might turn it down. Just depends on how much air you want blowing. So, all right, we'll check back later and see how. I may not come back out for a couple hours because I think there's at least a couple hours left with that ice. All right, we're at 213, and it looks like my ice is all gone. I got just these little cubes there. Now this water is still pretty cold. So let's think about this. That's over 5 hours that those two big blocks lasted. And let's see, I know we're still getting cold air. It's not super cold now, but I mean, it feels good. 53, 54, 52, 51, it's going down. So there you go, 5 hours, and the trailer it says it's 80 degrees in here. It doesn't really feel like 80 degrees. Now I have to be honest, I wanted to put IcyBreeze to the test, so I didn't do Icy any favors. I got this skylight, the sun's just beating in here, got windows open over here. So normally if I was trying to keep us a little cooler, I'd probably drop these shades, try to keep that sunlight out, and I would also go ahead and close this up. That would help with temperature in here. I don't have any fans going on. For instance, I could have had our max air fan going. So anyway, I think this did what I wanted it to do. We know that high extreme, we was able to get a couple hours, 2.5, maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes on our 10 amp hour battery. And using those two big jugs of water, frozen, we were able to get over 5 hours of cooling. And like I said, this actually still feels good. Now it's not as cold as it was obviously earlier, but feels nice. So all right, let's go ahead and shut that off. So there you go, there's my IcyBreeze test. I love this thing. It's going to be great this summer when we're off the grid and we need to stay cool, or even if we're in a commercial campground, if we want to sit outside. Truman and Bess love having this cold air blow on them. And so ideally, if you can go, I think, with big blocks of ice, that's going to give you a longer cooling time. But that may not be possible for us because we don't have the freezer space in the RV. And honestly, I find it hard anymore to buy block ice. If I can find block ice, that's the way I'm going to go. Otherwise, I'm going to fill this thing completely full of ice, crushed ice, and then we'll see, you know, how long that'll last. But obviously solid ice is going to last a lot longer. So I hope you found this useful. I hope you found it interesting. If you want more information on IcyBreeze, go to their website, IcyBreeze.com. We are not affiliated with them in terms of we don't do an affiliate link, or nothing like that. We just love their product. It's American made. It comes with a lifetime warranty, and we just try to help them out to spread the word because we think it's awesome. So let me know, does anybody own an IcyBreeze, and what do you think? Drop it down below in the comments. Until next time, everybody, we'll see ya on down the road. Good night.